Hello, everyone. This is Travis.
And this is Jonathan.
And we'd both love to welcome you to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
And bear with us. We're going to talk a little bit before we get started, but I'm anxiously awaiting it, too. We're not going to gab too long here.
It's pins and needles here for us. And I said welcome back. That was a mistake. Many of you may have never been here before.
That's true. You could be...
So I messed up.
It's hard to think. If you were to say welcome back on the very first one, knowing that someone might listen to, say, the third episode, and then they go back to listen to the first one, and we're saying welcome back, even though that was the first one.
Somebody could listen to the first one twice, and so the first time you say welcome back, it would be meaningless. But when they hear it the second time, then it would be appropriate.
That's fascinating.
And but you only said it one time, the first time that you said it.
It's
so
fascinating.
The context, that's up to them.
You can understand why this is a craze on the internet, these podcasts, and because it's fascinating.
Every time you listen to something, it's different the next time. So I guess people listen to podcasts,
but it's the same. That's what's so strange, though. But it's the same every way you say it, or every time you say it.
Well, you only say it the one time. You only say it the one time.
This is the third podcast that we've done. So we've said some of the same things at least 3 times, at least.
We talked about the song, 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
Well, that's the name, of course. You have to. If this was somebody's very first one they were listening to, of course, you have to say that every time. So we're sorry that you had to hear, what you're listening to if it's something you can, you come back to.
That's another thing that happens now is people binge listen to things. So say before in the past, somebody might have had an episode of an item and they would watch it and then they would have to wait a certain amount of time to see it again, a year or a month. Nowadays, people get everything all at once, and they just cram it all in as fast as they can. It's called binge watching. Binge listening in this case.
It's just a fascinating world to me, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this podcast world and I can totally understand. I'm a little late to the game, I suppose, but why people do this, why they get. I mean, look at all these things that we just said, all those different possibilities. It's always like that when you're recording your voice into a computer. It's fascinating.
I like to think of it as every morning I get up and I come to the podcast place, and it's like the options are so endless. I think of it like I get to make breakfast again because breakfast is one of those things with just unending possibilities.
Well, you do make I've seen you make breakfast. You can eat breakfast 3 times a day if you wanted to, but we've done that before. We had breakfast one morning, and then we did some things throughout the day, and you were like, let's just have breakfast. And we did. We went and had breakfast again.
And what did you have the first time?
I had the same thing twice. I mean, it was to me, breakfast is breakfast. I know people switch it up, but I have a routine, I enjoy breakfast, so it was fine. It was just like a waffle, eggs, and two pieces of bacon. But I could eat that 3 times a day.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you're saying that breakfast to you isn't. To me, breakfast is a blank slate, and you have the different pieces of it, which are a sausage or a biscuit or a pancake or a syrup.
All of those. Yeah.
All those different pieces.
In my case, waffles, eggs, and 2 pieces of bacon.
That's breakfast. But if I said I made you some oatmeal and some dates,
I'd say no, thank you.
That's not breakfast to you.
No, I thought I had my breakfast already.
Would you identify that?
If someone
as
was
breakfast?
offering that to me, if I were at someone's house and they said, "Guess what we're having for breakfast this morning?" I'm not gonna like, oh God, I'm not gonna be rude about it. I'll have it. But that's what I like for breakfast. I think I've made that clear. But again, we had it twice a day. The same meal. I wouldn't have it differently.
You did make it clear, and I don't know why I went back to the well on that.
Well, we're trying to figure things out. Again,
it's only our third episode, so
we hope you're coming back. And if you are coming back, welcome back. And if it's the first time you're here, listen, we're going to go down this. It's like what do you call it? The Neo hole. What is that? The Matrix, where you go down. You go down the Neo hole, and you get lost in all the computer stuff.
That's how I feel on the interstate.
Oh, just driving?
So many cars and so many exits and so many possibilities, and it's just the chance to go somewhere new and exciting to open your mind.
When I usually go somewhere, I'm on the road. I know where I'm going, and it's just like, how long is it going to take me to get there? If I'm in a hurry, I don't take the time to take all that in or even think about going anywhere else, because the reason I left the house is to go to wherever the designation may, whether it's physical therapy, whether it's, to the grocery store, to the movies, wherever you need to go. But I usually have a destination in mind. Now, it's been a long time since I just hit the road, and if I had a convertible, which I never have, but in your mind, you think, put the top down, and like today we're just going for, what do you call it, a summer drive.
Well, I couldn't tell you the last time I've been to the movies, but we live here in Prince Everett Peak, and it does get, I don't know if this is the sort of weather for a top-down convertible ride to the destination or not.
Well, it depends on where it is, but no, currently, no, absolutely not. And it does, we're used to the cold, so I could probably do it, but anyone else putting the top down would probably be a bad idea. If you were from a warmer climate state, I wouldn't recommend it. But I don't have a convertible, so we're not going to, it's a situation we're not going to find ourselves in. No. You're safe. Come visit.
Well, we probably should get to the song now. I think it's time.
Oh, absolutely. If you're ready, we're ready. Looking forward to it. I am every week. And tell you what, let's listen to the song together, and we'll catch you on the other end. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 1, keep a tidy house for them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 2, be sure to clip their claws, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 3, scoop their box daily, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 4, brush them with a hairbrush, 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 5, don't squeeze their paws hard, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 6, give them some fresh water, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 7, let them have a fish, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 8,
Buy them a scratching post. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 9. Put them in your lap. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 10. Be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11. Whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12. Rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13. Make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14. Give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15. Make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16. Buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17. Play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18. Get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19. Make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 20. Take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 33. Don't let them chew on power cords. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 34. Set them by the window. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 35. Cat-proof your home. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 36. Change their litter weekly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 40. Give them a toy mouse. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 51. Scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 55. Let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 63. Treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 64. When he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 65. Let them chase a laser pointer. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 66. Clean out their ears. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 67. Never smoke around them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 68. Buy a sturdy cat carrier. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 69. Listen to them purr. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 70. Into by temptations. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 71. Give them your full attention. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 72. Don't trap them in the laundry basket. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 73. Let them sleep in bed with you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 74. Make sure they're not locked in the closet. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 75. Don't let them play in plastic bags. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 76. Give them a massage. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 77. Touch him as you pass by. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 78. If he's on the couch, don't be mad. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 79. If they hate fans, turn the fan off. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 80. When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 94. Let him drink out of the sink. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 96. Draw a picture of him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 98. Read him a book. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 99. feed him again. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 100. Just love them every day. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways.
You know how earlier we were talking about breakfast?
Uh-huh.
And I mentioned the day that we had breakfast twice in one day. I had my traditional waffles, eggs, and 2 slices of bacon.
Oh, right.
Twice, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I could listen to this song again. I could listen to this song twice a day.
Twice in one day?
Absolutely. I could literally... whatever button I need to hit to it wouldn't rewind us, it would just rewind the song, right?
Uh-huh.
If I did that, I could listen to it right now. Now, I'm not suggesting we do that because I wanted to anticipate and for people to enjoy listening to it next week, but I'm telling you that's just how much I enjoy that song. I could totally listen to it again.
Well,
right
I
now.
think anyone who wants to can, but also keep in mind that you have to listen to it again next week. You don't have to, but we're counting on you to come back and listen to it again.
We certainly hope you do. We hope you can tell your friends to join us. Anyone that loves songs, cats, or just regular chatting, I guess.
Yeah. But that's a part that that's only a few minutes at the beginning. And by the time you get to this part, you've probably tuned out.
I didn't mean to use that as a selling point per se,
No,
or trying to convince they do some chat. I think that goes without saying, like we talked about podcast earlier and all the different, usually there's talking at some point in it. So you don't even need to stress that, but they should definitely know that about the song. I think that would be what would more than likely bring people more so than I see what you're saying. Again, I'm just
I don't know. I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, I'm glad you did, and I will be definitely glad if all of you listeners will come back and join us next week to hear the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast, in which you will hear the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat.